Sometimes I think it's a miracle that I work at all, considering I have two small children, and my husband is always travelling, and I have no au pair. It's not really like I have to, but I quite like what I do, and being me is very expensive. Also, in my circles, it's definitely looked upon as a bit lazy to stay at home. Unless you have a cupcake business from the kitchen counter and blog about it, which I don't, as I hate cupcakes and blogs. It's raining outside, and as I watch volleys of rain slam against the floor-to-ceiling windows beyond the pool, it occurs to me that I don't remember the last day it didn't rain. I suppose October is like that in many places, but I think I'm one of those people who is particularly sensitive to dreary skies and wet winds. I am a Taurus, and I prefer my surroundings to be beautiful at all times. A little boy catches my eye as the children line up at the 1-meter diving board. I'm not sure why. He's significantly smaller than the other children, and his skin is a deep olive brown and smooth. He's bouncing up and down on his heels, rubbing his arms, but his face is completely void of the goofy expressions of the other children waiting their turn. He looks frightened. I look around at the other parents who are waiting in the steamy, overheated room for someone who might be the boys' parents. I don't remember seeing him here before. There's chubby Sarah's fat mother, who I always try not to have to talk to. I've heard from several people that she's really needy, and the last thing I need is some Klingon mummy friend. There's Emrik's father, a good-looking guy I went to school with back in the day, who is now a police officer, and who I occasionally glance up at before quickly looking away. I can feel his eyes on me now, but wait 10 seconds longer than I want to before meeting his eyes. I give him a very faint smile, and he immediately returns it like a grateful puppy. I'm a good girl these days, though it doesn't come easily to me. There was a time when I would have felt giddy with excitement at this little game, perhaps easing the top button of my blouse open, running my tongue slowly along the backs of my teeth. I scan the few remaining people for the little boy's parents, now pointedly ignoring Emrik's dad's wanting gaze. There are the grandparents of Hermine's best friend from school, Amalia, sitting closely together and sharing biscuits from an old, faded red cake tin. There's also a slim ginger woman sitting close to the door, a heat flush creeping across her freckled white chest. She, too, is watching the boy intently, and I suppose she must be the mother, though it faintly surprises me that she must have had the child with someone pretty ethnic. The kid is so dark the father must be even darker, and she doesn't immediately strike me as someone with such exotic tastes. There's nobody else here. I imagine the other parents are out in the parking lot, preferring their own rain-battered cocoons and a newspaper to listening to kids' screeching voices cutting through the clammy, hot air. Finally, Hermine's class finishes after 2 rather underwhelming attempts at diving, and she walks over to where Nicoline and I are sitting. "Did you see that?" She beams, exposing the wide, fleshy gash in her mouth from 6 simultaneously missing teeth. "Fabulous," I say, standing up, gathering our things together and nudging Nicoline, who is watching a 10-year-old in America apply a thick layer of foundation before expertly contouring her elfin face. "Hurry up in the changing rooms. We'll wait in the foyer." Hermione does not hurry up in the changing rooms, and Nicoline and I wait impatiently in the brick-clad foyer, staring out at columns of rain moving back and forth across the parking lot, like dancers in a ballroom. I keep checking my watch, and it's already past 7:30 when Hermione appears, freshly blow-dried and with a lick of pink lip gloss, in spite of the fact that she's about to step into a torrent. I can practically feel the thin, cool stem of the wineglass in my hand, and am slightly hysterical at the thought of having to deal with the girls for much longer today. They begin to argue over something as we walk out the door, and over the sounds of their high-pitched squabbling and the crash of the rain, I don't pick out the other sound until I've taken several steps outside. I briefly turn around, and there is the receptionist, an older, tired-looking woman,